Hello guys, very good morning everyone. Hope you guys are doing good. Welcome to the session today. So let us start the session. If you remember, yesterday we had discussed about the introduction of the Google Cloud Storage, right? What is a Google Cloud Storage, guys? Google Cloud Storage is one of the fully managed service. What does that mean? One of the fully managed means fully managed is nothing but all the resources required for the managing the files as well as storing the files and retrieving will be taken care by the GCP itself. We need not to worry about that thing. The only thing we have to worry about is like how to create a bucket and how to upload a file, and after that how to make sure the data is controlled, and need not to worry about the resources required to build this GCS. And one more thing, we have to worry about what are the storage classes we need to take care of it, and the location as well as object version. And what kind of a tool it is, guys, if you ask me, a Google Cloud Storage is a service for storing your any type of a data, any kind of a data, any number of files we can store here. And how the Google Cloud Storage operates? Google Cloud Storage operates via bucket, okay, and objects. What is a bucket, guys? A bucket is nothing but a container to store your objects. And what is your file object, guys? Object is nothing but a file. Okay, it allows worldwide storage and retrieval. It is a scalable and secured platform. So this is all about a introduction to the Google Cloud Storage. Now the question is how to create a bucket. Sir, as I told you, if I wanted to work with any of the service in the GCP, there are two ways. One is via console, one more is via command line tool. Okay, so let me open. Okay, so if I wanted to work with a uh, interactive, to interact with GCP, how many ways we can interact with the GCP? Guys, there are plenty of ways. There are REST APIs, there are many things, but mainly as a developer, as a data engineer, we are going to work with, we are going to focus on two things. Okay, that is, one is user interface, that is what we call as a console. One more is command line tool, that is your shell or SDK. Okay, so these are the two ways that we can work with. Now the question is how to create a bucket from the console. That is one thing, and also how to create a bucket from the command line tool. So these are the two things that we will see, guys. Okay, so now let us see. Let me go to the console and tell you how to create a bucket and how to interact with the, and while creating a bucket, what are the things that we have to take care, one by one we will see. And likewise, how to create a bucket from the command line tool. That means with the help of the commands, with the help of the Linux commands, how to create a bucket also we will see. Okay, all of these things one by one we will see. Okay, for that one, let me go to my let me go the console. Okay, login in. I am logging into my console, guys. Google Cloud. Okay, so let me first give you an introduction to the Google Cloud platform here, the interface. So when you logged into your Google Cloud, so this is how the interface looks like. Okay, in the interface top left, you will be able to see all the services. This is your navigation menu. where you will be able to see all the list of services or the products available in the Google Cloud. Okay, so this is one thing. And one more thing, once you have here, so everything is worked via project, guys. Okay, this is something that we are going to start maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow, about what is a project and how to interact with all of these things. We will see tomorrow, guys. But for now, just understand that. So when you wanted to work with any of the service in the GCP, okay, when you wanted to work with any of the service in the GCP, we have to enter, we have to select a proper project. Either we have to select an existing project or we can create a new project. Okay, how to create a new project, guys? Click on this new project. You will provide your project ID, project number, that's it. Okay, new project will be created. So each and every product in the GCP will be uh, can be tracked from the project only, and billing also enabled from the project only. If you don't select a proper project, the project you cannot be able to work with any of the resources. And one more thing, you have to enable the billing only, otherwise you can able to need not to, unable to work with the GCP services. And while you are working with any of the service, there will be a API. You have to enable the API. All these things are linked to a project only, because all the tracking of the billing will be done from the projects. Okay, so this is one thing, guys. Okay, now once you have here, sir, if you wanted to work with any of the service in the GCP, either you can go to the left navigation menu, select that service. Like if you are working with the Google Cloud Storage, you can select here. No, you wanted to directly select it, you can directly search that particular service. You can also select it from here. Okay, Google Cloud Storage. And after that, sir, there is a free trial status, how much amount of money that is left in your free trial status and how many days it is, you can able to see from here. Okay, and here this is where you can able to activate your cloud shell, sir. If we wanted to work with the cloud shell, nothing but a command line tool, where this is where the place you have to go and click on activate the cloud shell. When you click on activate the cloud shell, one more at the bottom you will be able to see a command line tool will be opened for us. It takes like almost 30 seconds. For the first time it can take 30 to 40 seconds. You see here a cloud shell terminal will be opened for us. Okay, so this is a we will see what is actually a cloud shell and what kind of a tool it is and how to an introduction to the cloud shell also I will tell you guys. But now let us not worry about that. And after that, this is where you will be able to see all the notifications when you create a bucket, when you delete a bucket, when you move something, you will be able to see here. And the settings, you if you wanted to go to the project settings, you can go for from here. And all the if you wanted to add one more account, a sign out account, and you wanted to look at your account details, so from here you will be able to do it. So this is all about the interface of the Google Cloud, guys. In a Google Cloud, you will be able to have a navigation menu for selecting the each and every service, and go to the search box for selecting a proper service. And one more thing is like you can select a proper project here. Either you can select an existing project or create a new project. And here you can go to the project settings as well from here. Okay, and one more thing is like activate cloud shell. So you can able to see the cloud shell was activated, you will be able to see. So whenever you are working from the console also, the very first thing is like you select a project, right? Likewise, whenever you work from a cloud shell also, you select a proper project. Okay, so this project by default the this project is selected. How I know every project is tracked with the help of their project ID, guys. So this is your project ID, arboreal avatar, right here you see arboreal avatar. So this is your project ID. And if you wanted to select one more project from the cloud shell, so the thing here is like you have to mention this one, Google Cloud config set project, and that project ID you have to mention, so that you will be able to enter one more project. And here from the console, if you wanted to go to a one more project, you directly click on that one. So like how you are clicking on this one, you click on one more project, that project will be selected. So if you are working in that project, that means all the building will be enabled to that particular project only. Okay, so this is what is all about the introduction to the GCP console as well as Cloud Shell, guys. And I want you to understand what is a Cloud Shell also now. Okay, I think, do I have somewhere the Cloud Shell information? No. No. Yeah, here it is. Yes. Okay, so what is a cloud? As I told you guys, if anyone wanted to interact with the GCP services, there are two ways. Okay, the very first thing is web user interface. Then the very next thing is command line tool, that either Cloud Shell terminal or an editor. Sorry, Cloud Shell terminal or SDK. So these are the two ways that we can work with. And one more thing, what is a Cloud Shell? Because we know that console is a web interface. We know how the web interface works. But what does this Cloud Shell serve? A Cloud Shell is a very small Linux operating system, guys. It is a command line tool. It has a 5 GB storage. Storage size is 5 GB, and it has a language support to SQL, Python, Go, Java, all of these things. If we wanted to work with the shell, we first activate it. After that, we select a proper project and use shell commands and Linux commands to interact with the each and every services. Okay, so this is what is a Cloud Shell, guys. You should not you should understand that the Cloud Shell is a very small machine. When I say very small machine, it does have a Linux operating system, and it is having only 5 GB persistent disk storage, and it has a language support to SQL, Python, Go, Java. Okay, so whenever you wanted to interact with any of the service from the Cloud Shell, you provide a proper command from the Cloud Shell to interact with that particular service. That commands will be available. I will tell you how to do that, because I have listed here. Okay, one by one we will see. We need not to, hurry. We are not in a hurry, guys. So what we will do, so whenever I interact with any of the services, there are two ways I will tell you. For example, today I am working about a Google Cloud Storage. I will tell how to create a bucket from the console. I will also tell you how to interact with the Cloud Shell, how to interact with the Google Cloud Storage from the Cloud Shell also. Okay, two ways we will see. Now we understood that the interface, there are two ways that we can interact. One is console and via Cloud Shell. Now we will go to the Google Cloud Storage and try to create a bucket on the console.
Hello.
Yep.
I want doubt, sir.
Yeah.
So what is the difference between this Cloud Shell, which are working with the Linux operating system you told, no?
Yes.
What is the difference between this Cloud Shell and the SSH? During the computer engine we are creating now, so there we are getting into the SSH. The same screen is what different is there?
Where will be able to interact with each and every service in GCP. And one more, this SSH terminal is only for that particular virtual machine, right? So you cannot interact with all the GCP services. If you want to interact with that particular virtual machine, what you provide some commands, you wanted to upload some file, you wanted to delete some file, you wanted to see some information, you wanted to access some information, you wanted to provide some permission. So all of those things are related to that particular virtual machine. Okay, there also you will be using a Linux commands, and those commands are also similar. But the thing is, like, it is only specific to that virtual machine. But here, Cloud Shell is a overall service or in general service or a primitive service where you can able to interact with each and every service in the GCP. All the resources, all the permissions, everything can be done from the Cloud Shell as well. So that is the main difference, guys. Okay.
Okay, sir. Then what is the purpose of SSH? Sir, we can directly interact with what are the comments we are giving in SSH? The
No. So you have to understand that one more thing is like if I wanted to interact, because see a virtual machine, as I told you, you have to understand this thing as well. A cloud shell is a small machine. When I mention a small machine, it have only the 5 GB persistent disk storage. And when you go to the virtual machine will be having a lot of storage. Sir, I wanted to move a file from a file of 10 GB to a virtual machine. That I can do, but I cannot load it to the Google Cloud Shell, right? Because it has only 5 GB. When I say 5 GB, you can only store until 4.5 GB of storage only. So it's not possible. But when I say virtual machine, you can able to store any amount of data as per your storage requirements. If you have given a configuration of storage like 500 GB, you can store 500 GB also. You can store 1 TB also. According to your requirement, you create a virtual machine. But it is not. It is just a small machine to interact with this and that. But it is not for running a heavy things. Okay, even you go for a heavy complex things, it will not. It will struck because it's a very small machine. But SSH terminal is a very. It's like your shell commands. Okay, you for example, you have a laptop, right? When you go to a laptop, you have a command line tool, right? That's like your SSH terminal. Okay, that means when you wanted to work with your laptop, you have a user interface that you go do this and that. But in the command line tool, you have a command CMD. When you enter a command called CMD in your search button, you will be able to open that command line tool. You can also work with from the command line tool from any of the services. Okay, when you wanted to work with any of the services in your local laptop, so if you wanted to work with this thing, that thing, you can able to work with. So that is like your SSH terminal. Okay, a full machine and its own everything will be controlled by SSH. Not only the SSH. If you open, for example, if your virtual machine is a Windows operating system, then you can again do with a user interface also. Okay, but if you have selected Ubuntu or Debian, so then you can able to only work with the commands only in that case. So that is what that command line tool is, nothing but a SSH terminal. Yeah.
Well, okay. Whether that G Cloud and GSP both commands will work in SSH.
Of course, yes, it will work. G Cloud commands will work, yes. But you have to import it before that. Okay, because SSH terminal is specific to that virtual machine, but it does not understand the Google Cloud. Even though I am working in a Google Cloud, it does not understand. So what you do, you import all the modules. Okay, when you import all the modules, it will work.
All the modules fixed.
So we will see in our upcoming classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So guys, Google Cloud Storage we are seeing, right? So how to create a bucket and how to interact with the how to create a bucket, how to create a folder, and how to upload a file inside this Google Cloud Storage one by one we will see now. Okay. So for example, when you are inside a Google Cloud Storage, this is how the interface looks like. If you wanted to create a bucket, click on create bucket. Keep yourself muted, guys. Okay, when you click on a create bucket, so as I told you, there are few things that we have to remember while creating a bucket. Okay, first thing, while providing a name of your bucket, we have to pick a proper globally unique name. When I say globally unique name, no one has used so far this particular name as the Google Cloud Storage bucket. Okay, so some disturbance, 1 minute. Yeah. So, when I say globally unique name, so far no one has used this name as a Google Cloud Storage bucket. No one, when I say it's not me, it's not you, it's everyone. Whoever so far worked on the Google Cloud Storage, for example, I did not create a bucket with the name of the bucket called a bucket. Okay. But someone might have used it. Okay. So this bucket name is already taken. bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, something like that. If you give a normal name, it might have created by someone might have used this kind of a bucket name already. So you cannot be able to create it. So it should be a properly unique name so that you can able to give that to your bucket. So for now, I am going to give storage underscore bucket underscore resources. Okay, so this is the bucket. I have given a proper bucket name, which will not, I believe that which will not be used by anyone so far. Even though if still this is the 10102, I will give. Okay, so this name no one has used so far. It is a globally unique name. Now, after that, once you have given a proper name to the bucket, click on continue. And this is where we have to worry about a location. So I want you to understand about a location, sir. While you are creating a bucket, the very important thing you have to remember is one of the important thing is location, guys. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of noise. 1 minute. Okay, location. So there are three there are three types of locations available inside when you wanted to create a bucket. One is region, one more is dual region, one more is multi-region. Okay. So these are the three things, sir. What is the difference? One by one we will see, sir. Very important thing, let us try to understand it. Sir, you select a region. Sir, this is your bucket. You selected one region and you created a bucket. Inside a bucket, you have one file. Okay, that file is sales.csv. You have uploaded this file. Okay. Now tell me, you selected a region called some US. Okay, instead of that name, instead of names, I will say region 1. Okay, you selected one region 1, you selected one region, and inside you have created a bucket, and inside the bucket you have uploaded a file. Okay, so what happens if this region crashes? What happens? Think about it like this, guys. If what happens if this region has a failover? All the data related to whatever the bucket, the data inside the bucket will lose, right? So this may happen for the single region. When you select a single region, if we do not know, there can be no failovers, but in any case, if there is a failover happened at that particular region, all the data inside your bucket will be gone. Okay, so that is the problem with the region. So that is the reason it has a, and one more thing is like a latency will be there, and data loss may happen. Data loss may happen because you have only selected, there is no replication. I would say instead of that one, no replication. Instead of that one, I will say no replication. Okay. So these are the two things. There will be a latency. When I say latency, you wanted to see here. You wanted to get the data from this particular bucket. There are plenty of the people need to have the data from this bucket. But the thing is like many people are accessing. That is the reason there is a latency because of a single region. So there will be a latency and there is no replication. When I say a replication, we will see in a dual region, guys. Okay. Now, if the failover happens, the data will be losing. So I don't want it to go such scenarios. What I will do is like, I will go to the dual region. In a dual region, what happens is like, whatever the data that you have uploaded, right? It will be replicated to the one more region, sir. What it will do, sir? It will be replicated to the one more region. Okay, in a dual region, you have created a bucket with a region 1 and you have selected a dual region. So whatever the file you uploaded, sales.csv, that data, say similar data, the same data will be replicated. One more copy of the same data will be available in the region 2 because it is a dual region. So one more region will also be there the data will be copied or replicated to the one more region. Okay, it is replicated to the one more region. What is the advantage, sir? If region 1 failover happens, or if the region 1 crashes, there will your data will be available all the time. Your data will be available from the this region too. Okay, so this is what is an advantage. Okay, this is what I am calling as a replication.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, sorry.
If we delete region 1, data will be deleted in region 2.
Both, yes, yeah, region 2 as well. It's if you intentionally delete a data, that means you don't need it, right? So that means data will be deleted in the both the regions, because unnecessarily you don't want it to pay the extra charge, right? You intentionally deleted means both the places it will be deleted. But if you wanted to recover it, that there's a chance. Okay, but if you upload a one file and at any cost you don't want it to lose the data, you go for a dual region. And what is the advantage? Here it is less available, but here less latency, replication is there, and availability is there. Okay, the data is highly available. And one more thing, sir, again, one more thing. When I say dual region, I am getting these kind of benefits from the dual region. What if I go to the multi-region? So the multi-region will be selected by those companies who don't want it to lose the data at any cost. At any cost, you are running a business, very important for you. You have a data that you don't want it to lose at any cost. In that case, you select a multi-region. In a multi-region, the data will be replicated between 2 or 3. Sorry, the data will be replicated between 2 or 3 regions. The data will be replicated between what, sir? 2 or 3 regions. Okay, so this is the region 3. More than 2 regions, sir. So this is an advantage. What is this one, sir? At any cost. The requirement is very simple. At any cost, because the cost will be increasing from the region to the multi-region. Because I will tell you, because when you get a lot of benefits, the cost will also be there like that, right? So when you go to a multi-region, the data will be replicated to the multiple regions, and the data will be highly available. Okay, the data will be highly available. There is no latency at all. We can say minimal latency. The latency is very minimal. Okay, comparatively very less. Very less latency, sir. And one more is replication is between different regions, more than 2 regions. Here only 1 region, sir. There replication is only 1 region, but replication between more than 2 regions, and data will be highly available. So this is a question in the interviews also. How do you make your data will be highly available? So I select a multi-region option so that my data will be highly available all the time. Okay.
Here
So
also in any
even though
also in any region, if you delete data, it will replicate to all the region in multi-region.
In a multi-region also, it's only about, sir, intentionally you wanted to delete it, it will be deleted every place, sir. First thing. Okay, intentionally you delete it in one location, it will be deleted everywhere. But if you upload a file, but you thought that if for example if there a failover happens to this region, that was nothing but unintentionally the data is not available. In that case, your application will be connected to this data, even though this region is also not available. Your application or your data processing system will be connected to this one. That's the reason data can be highly available. Okay, so this is what it happens. For example, when your application is running or when your data pipeline is running, you have connected to this one. Okay, you have connected to this one, your application or a pipeline, whatever it is. When you connected to this one, if this region in a multi-region, this bucket is not, the data inside this, the file is not available, or this region is not available, automatically it will be connecting to this one, because it is a multi-region. Automatically it will be connecting. This is the reason all the time the data will be highly available. Okay, but in this one, if this region is not available, it will be connected to this one. If this is not available, it will not be connected to that one. That is the reason the data is less available here. Yeah. Any questions, sir?
Sir, if any changes made in region 1, it will be applicable to others.
Of course. Yes. Yes. So it is just a replication, sir. Whatever you do the changes in the region 1, it will be replicated. Okay, you cannot see it. Okay, sir, where I can see my replication, you cannot see it. Okay, automatically backend GCP will be taking care of it. This is a concept. So what do you have to understand from this concept, sir? What I can get from this concept, if you ask me, I will say like this. So if you wanted to, the cost will be less here, less cost. Okay, I will say L. Here medium cost. It is a high cost, not high, but the cost will also be lesser, but comparatively. Okay.
Sir, if I am accidentally updated any files and I want to reverse that one, whether it is possible.
You wanted to revert the changes?
Revert the
you can go for the object version. We will come to that topic. Yeah. Yeah. So what is the concept that, what is the thing that you have to get from this location is that, so according to your requirements, sir, I wanted to, it's okay for me if it is less available also, that is fine. I don't need a replication. I want a less cost. You can go for region. No, at any cost, I don't want it to lose the data, or at any cost, the data to be available all the time. In that case, you can go for this one. Okay, so this is what is all about the location, sir. Now you understand that what is the mean by the multi-region, dual region, single region. Dual region highly available across largest area. Dual region highly available across 2 regions only. And lowest latency with a single region. So this is what it is. Okay. Now if I select a multi-region, the cost will be, you'll be able to see here, guys. Okay. And if I select a dual region, I will select 2 regions. And the cost will be like this. And if I select a multi-region, the cost will be little less. There is no replication cost here. Okay, so this is how it works. So as per my business, I don't want it to lose the data at any cost. So I will go with the multi-region, and inside that I select Europe or Asia specific or this one. For now, I'm going with the US multiple regions. So this is the region I have selected. Inside that US, the data will be replicated to the multiple regions. Okay, so this is all about a location type. Once you have selected a proper location, click on continue. And this is where is your storage class. Sir, what does that mean by storage classes? You set here, you look at here. In a storage classes, we have 4: standard, nearline, cold line, and archive. Okay, let us see what is this. Okay, storage classes. Okay. So in a storage classes, you have to, in a storage classes, we have 4, sir. One is standard storage class, nearline, cold line, archive. Okay, so let us not worry about these 4, but let me tell you, sir, I have a requirement that I am uploading one file to one of my bucket, and that file I wanted to access it frequently. Okay, what you are doing, sir? You have created one bucket. And inside that bucket, you are uploading some file called sales.csv. Okay, this file you wanted to access it frequently. In that case, you selected the bucket storage class as a standard. Frequently accessed data. Okay, what is this one, sir? If you wanted to access this file frequently, then you can go for the standard storage class of this bucket. Okay, this is your bucket. Okay, this is one thing. And nearline, sir, you don't want it to access it frequently. Your manager told that we are going to access this file, or we are going to retrieve this file, or we are going to work with this file once in a month. Okay, once in a month, then you can go for a nearline. Okay, so this is what is. And one more thing is like, no, it is not frequently, it is not once in a month, we are just accessing once in a quarter. Then you can go for a cold line. And one more is, you can say once in a year. What is this? What are the advantages that we are getting? I will tell you, sir, but just understand the concept. Okay, so if you have a file inside a bucket, if you are accessing all those files inside that bucket frequently, you can select that bucket as a storage class of standard. Okay, no, if you are not frequently accessing it, if you are only wanted to access it once in a month, you can select as a nearline as your storage class, or cold line as your storage class for once in a quarter, archive for once in a year. Okay, so this is all about storage classes, guys. Let me show you one advantage diagram. You will be able to understand it. 1 minute, let me open that. Somewhere I got it. Okay, yeah. Last time when I was explaining, this is the thing. Okay, the advantage is something that I will tell you. These are the 4 storage classes, guys. The storage class for standard, nearline, cold line, and archive. Okay, you will be able to see here. As I told you, see, the advantage is that, so when you are accessing frequently, the transaction cost is very less and the storage cost is very high. Okay, and when you are accessing it once in a year, the transaction cost is very high, the storage cost is very less. So this is the advantage that you are getting. Okay, what does that mean, sir? You have to be very smart when you are selecting a storage class. Okay, unnecessarily you don't want it to pay extra money here. Okay, there is a cost associated. I want you to understand one more point. Where is my paint? There are 2 costs associated. When you interact with a service, any service, there are 2 costs associated, guys. If you interact with and if you are working with any of the resource in the GCP, and not only in the GCP, even you go to the AWS Azure also, there are 2 costs associated. One is storage cost. One more is compute or retrieval cost. Okay, these are the 2 costs associated. Okay, one is storage cost, one more is retrieval or compute cost. For Google Cloud Storage, it is a storage cost will be there, retrieval cost will also be there. Storage cost is nothing but for storing this particular data inside a bucket, that is a storage cost. When you retrieve it, so this is when you access it, that is a transaction. You are doing some kind of a transaction, right? You're trying to load this data to some other data processing system. That a transaction cost or that retrieval cost will also be there. So that is what we are talking about. So for the standard storage class, so like this one, the transaction cost is high. The standard transaction cost will be increased here. Transaction cost will be increasing. Okay. So the transaction cost will be increasing from the standard to the archive. That means, what does that mean, sir? When you are accessing once in a year, when you access that file, the cost will be very high. But when you are frequently accessing the data, The cost will be very less. Why, sir? Because again, there is a one more cost, that is storage cost. Okay, storage cost will be very high here. Storage cost is very high here. Okay, so the storage cost is for frequently accessed data. You have to, the data to be available all the time when you frequently access it. That means the storage cost for that particular storage class is higher, because when you frequently accessing it, the data to be highly available, to make the data to be highly available all the time, the storage cost is increases. Okay, and one more thing, archive. When I say once in a year only, because when I am retrieving it once in a year, the data need not to be available all the time. So for the making not available all the time, I don't need to pay extra money. The storage cost is very lesser here, but the transaction cost is, after a very few many days, you are trying to retrieve the data, retrieve the entire data. That means the transaction cost is very high. Okay, so this is how the benefit that you are going to get it, guys. Okay, one is transaction cost, one more is storage cost. Okay, transaction cost will be very high for the archival storage class, and storage cost will be very high for the standard storage class. Okay, this is something that you have to understand. Okay, any questions are on this one? Okay, so this is something that I want to understand. Okay, okay, 1 minute. Some more things are also there. I guess storage classes, I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, so this is what is about storage classes. Now you understand that what is a storage class, guys. Now you have to, you can also read it here. Best for short-term storage, frequently accessed data. Best for backups and data accessed less than 1 a month. And best for disaster recovery, less than once in a quarter. Best for long-term digital preservation data accessed once in a year. Okay, so according to your requirements, sir, you are creating a bucket. That bucket is only for the disaster recovery. That means you are only accessing the data once in a quarter. You go for this code line. Sir, I am creating a bucket. I wanted to use that bucket files inside a bucket all the time. You go for the standard. Sir, I wanted to be create a bucket for the backup purpose. Then you can go for the nearline. Okay, so this is what you have to do, sir. Okay, so this is all about storage classes. Now I wanted to access the data frequently. For that reason, I am selecting a standard as my storage class. Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
At initial stage, if we have chosen archive, immediately if we want to choose the data,
correct.
will it be
very good question? Yeah, very good question. So initially you have selected as an archive as your default storage class, but you later some point of time you understood that this is not going to be an archive. You wanted to be access the data very frequently. That's your question, right? So you can make it. You can convert a storage class from one to the another according to your requirement later. Also, you can edit the bucket. So this is an editable option.
So if we edit also, we can pay in the middle also.
We can, sorry, the cost will be until that time. For example, you for 1 month you have mentioned it as an archive. The cost will for 1 month will be only for that particular archive storage class. And after next month, you have selected as a standard as your storage class. The cost will be from there. Whenever you select the standard, from there, the storage cost will be according to the standard storage class. And our Google will be, GCP, Google Cloud is very smart enough to understand that how you are selecting the storage classes. Not only that, how the computing and how the resources you are using, how much data. Even though you create a bucket, you don't upload anything. Google Cloud will understand that you just created a bucket, you have not uploaded anything. That means you are not using any resources. There won't be any cost. And you selected a storage class, this one, that one, this one, that one, but you don't uploaded anything. There is no cost at all. But if you uploaded one file inside a bucket and you selected a standard for 1 month, and after 2nd month you selected archive, the cost will be according to that. Standard, the cost will be standard into some 10 rupees. Or some 100 rupees, standard into 10 plus archive into some 150 rupees is total equals to for 2 months. That is a charge of that. So that is how it is. Okay.
Okay. So do it require downtime to change that class of the storage?
There is no downtime. Yes. I mean, there will be a little latency, but it is very less. Yeah.
Okay.
When you select a one storage class from one that to that, how much time it wouldn't take much time. But if it is a lot of data, even though a lot of data also, it wouldn't take much time. In the back end, if there can be like 1 or 2 seconds, it would be in milliseconds, guys. It would be in milliseconds. The downtime will be. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that is one thing. That's those two questions are very good questions, guys. Even I wanted to cover that. Yeah. So that is one thing. And we have selected, now I have selected a standard because I wanted to frequently access the data. So that is something that I have selected. Now, this is where is a very important thing because I wanted to control the files inside my bucket. Very important thing because everyone wanted to worry about the security, right? So this is where we are securing our buckets and files. So very important topic. Please be focused on this one, guys. Okay. So the thing here is, where I will keep it here. Okay. Okay, or I'll keep it here somewhere. Yeah. So the thing here is access control. What is this access control? I want you to focus on this point now. Sir, I have created one bucket. Inside that bucket, I have many files like sales.csv. I have schema.json. Sir, I have a project confidential file, confidential dot some text file, and there are plenty of other confidential or some what I would say sensitive data, some customer sensitive data, sensitive underscore data dot some word file or whatever it is, sir, word file. Okay, so these are the files inside my bucket. Consider that this is your bucket. Okay, you have created a bucket, and while after you created a bucket, you have uploaded these many files inside the bucket. Okay, there is a one project manager, or there is a client. Okay, think that there is a client, there's a data engineer. So we should understand the client has to access what kind of objects inside a bucket, and we should understand the data engineer has to access what kind of a files inside a bucket. So that is what
Sir,
told.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Here I have one question.
Yeah.
That storage class you explained last time.
Yes. Yes.
So that storage class is applicable for each and every file in the bucket, or it is applicable as a whole for a bucket?
It's it to the bucket. So we are not worried about a file, and it's only for the entire bucket. Okay. So when you select that file, when you select the bucket as your storage as standard storage class, all the files inside that bucket are applicable to the bucket. I mean, it follows the bucket level. So that means what there is a what that means if it is a standard, the file is also a standard storage class. Okay, so there is proper word for that. So I forgot that. Inherited. Okay, so inherited. So when you select a storage class for the bucket as a standard, it inherits all the files will also inherited from the bucket permissions. That means standard it will get from the files also. So if it is a bucket is a standard, all the files inside the bucket is also a standard. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So now back to the access control, guys. So in access control, so we are talking about two things, but now let me create a context for that. So I have created a bucket, but that bucket will have these many files. Okay, these many files inside it. Now we have to understand there is a client and there's a data engineer. So the data engineer has to access only sales.csv, schema.json, and it should not have access to the project confidential files and sensitive data. He should only access these two files. Okay, he should only access this file and this file. Okay, but inside a bucket. The data engineer has to access few files inside a bucket, only few files. What about a client? A client has to access all the files inside a bucket. All the files inside a bucket. Now, how do we achieve it? This is a very good question. How do we achieve it, sir? I have a bucket. That bucket is having a plenty of the files, but few of the files has to provide access to few people. But some people needs an entire access to all the files inside a bucket. So how do we achieve it? So that is where the concept of access control come into the picture. There are two concepts here, sir. One is, so for example, for the data engineer, what I will do, I will provide access at rate object level. Okay, what I'm doing, sir, for this data engineer, he should only access few files. So that's the reason I will provide him access to the object level. So I will go to this file, I will select his username and provide access to him. I will go to this particular file, I will select his username, again I will provide access. So object level permissions I will provide to him. Okay, so that he will be having access to that objects, whoever has provided a permission. Okay, and what about this one? So this one is access at rate bucket level. So when I provide a bucket level access, he can able to access anything inside that bucket. Okay, when I say a bucket level access, so I am providing access to the entire bucket. That means whatever the files inside that bucket, he will be having access. So these are the two concepts, sir. Okay, access at rate bucket level, access at rate object level. So this is what in other terms access control called as a uniform as this is fine grained. Okay, the name it is saying that uniform access to the entire files inside a bucket. That is nothing but a access at rate a bucket level. Fine grained, the access will be a granular access to the specific objects inside a bucket. So this is what is nothing but a access control, sir. Any questions? So this is a client need to have. I have given two specific names as a client and data engineer. Tomorrow in your project, when you're working in a Google Cloud project, you have to understand who needs to have a what kind of access. If a project manager is there, he should have access to the entire project. If the data engineer one is there, he should only access a sales.csv. There is a data engineer too, he should access a schema.csv. So you should provide a access control according to your business requirement or according to your access permissions. Okay, so this is how you are going to achieve access at rate bucket level, access at rate object level. That can be achieved with the help of what concept, sir? Uniform as well as fine grained. Okay.
Yeah. Once the object is created, it will have which type of access, sir?
By default, if you provide a if you provide a bucket level access, that means it's not like that. It's not that the question is not like that, but it can be like this. So for example, you created a bucket and while you are creating a bucket, you will select something. Okay, you see here, while you are creating a bucket, you will select here whether it is the access control needs to be uniform or fine grained. Okay, you select here. According to that, if you select a uniform, it ensures the uniform access to all the objects inside a bucket. Okay, if you select a fine grained, specific access to the individual objects by using object level permissions. Okay, so this is how. So sir, for example, if I upload a file to a bucket, what is the access? By default, there is no default. You select here. Okay, when you select uniform access to all the entire files. You select a fine grained access to the specific objects. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay.
Then what is the difference between the ACL and the IAM?
Yes, that is where. But the concept is something that this is a concept. A concept wise, controlling a bucket level access will be done with the help of the uniform, and controlling object level permissions with the help of the fine grained. But how to achieve it? That is a very good question, right? So how to achieve it, sir? That can be achieved with the help of the IAM. For uniform IAM, and fine grained is ACLS. So we will see this in action. Okay, what is this object level? ACL is nothing but an access control list. Okay, so let me tell you here also. Let me mention here somewhere we are writing.
At any point of time, we can edit now. You can edit the.
Yeah, we can edit it. That's not a problem. You selected today as a fine grained, but tomorrow you wanted to make it as a uniform. That is fine. You can do it. Okay, so this can be achieved. Uniform can be achieved with the help of the IAM, sir, and this can be achieved with IAM plus ACLS. Sorry. Okay, so when I say fine grained, you can actually provide an entire bucket access as well as object access, guys. This is not, so it is a next level. Fine grained is a next level to the uniform. So when I say you can provide both bucket level access, you can provide with help of the IAM, and ACLS, nothing but an access control list. So object level permissions also you can provide it here. Okay, so we will see in action how it is in next 2 minutes. Okay, I think we are up to time, but so shall we continue tomorrow, guys? But you understood the concept here, right? The concept is something that the access control, there are two concepts. One is uniform, one is fine grained. In a uniform, you provide access at rate bucket level. In a fine grained, you provide access to a specific objects to a specific person. Okay, you have to understand specific object to a specific person, because if you understand that specific, when I select that file tomorrow, and when I click on the permissions, I can just enter his email ID and provide access, whether that is a editor access or a browser access, whether it is a viewer access, I can able to select it tomorrow. Okay, what kind of access we need it. But concept wise, bucket level access, object level access. Uniform can be achieved with help of the IAM, fine grained can be achieved with help of the ACLS. Nothing but an access control list. Okay, so these are the two concepts, sir. Tomorrow we will continue from here. Yeah, any questions anyone having?
Yeah, so who had that uniform access, he can access all that bucket, right?
1 minute, guys, 1 minute. Okay, yeah.
Hello.
Sorry, yeah, someone is talking. Yeah.
Yeah, who have the uniform access?
Wait a minute.
Okay, please continue.
Yeah, Sesi Kumar, can you talk now? Yeah.
Initially, if you are selected as the uniform, so whatever object we are creating for a particular fine grained also, it will first created as a uniform only. That time using IAM and ACL, we have to change it to fine grained. Is it correct?
Correct. That is correct. So the question here is very simple. He has asked a very good question that I wanted to tomorrow also explain, but now I will tell you. So, sir, today I have selected a uniform access. That means I can only provide a bucket level access today. Okay. So if I wanted to make it as a fine grained, because I wanted to I understand the business today that yesterday I have selected a uniform, but today I understand that I have to provide a object level permissions to few people, because I don't want it to provide an entire access to the bucket. So in that case, you can go for the fine grained with the help of the ACLS. That is a good question. Yes. And it's also vice versa also. Today I have selected a fine grained, but I don't wanted to apply a fine grained. I wanted to apply a specific access. You can come back to the uniform also. That is also fine. It can be editable. This is also editable option, guys. Yeah. Yeah. One more guy is asking a question. Yes.
Yeah. So my question is like similar to that. So if someone have that uniform access, that means he have that fine grained access, right?
If someone is having a uniform access, that means he cannot have a fine grained. Yes.
Yes, means he have the entire bucket access. Means he can access all the fine grained also access also here.
So uniform, you can only achieve bucket level access, but with the help of the fine grained, you can achieve both uniform plus object level.
But objects are inside that bucket, right?
Yes. So see here, this is the next level. When I say this is level 1, this is level 2. When I select a fine grained, the level 1 will be achieved. For example, in a fine grained, if I wanted to provide him an entire bucket access, I can do that. Or in a fine grained, if I wanted to provide only specific object access, I can provide it. you can understand level 1 and level 2. Level 2 is above than the level 1, right? So that's how.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, someone is asking about IAM, right? So we will be having a separate concept for the IAM, guys. IAM is a identity access management. Identity, who can do what on which resource, everything tells by the IAM. Okay, we will be having a separate topic. Maybe day after tomorrow onwards, we are going to start it. Okay, very important topic. What is the role? What is the permission? What is the access? What is the principle of least privilege? What is a resource hierarchy? What is a user account? What is a Google account? What is a service account? Everything we are going to discuss there. Okay. Yeah.
If you're providing any access, it will go for approval, uniform access or fine-grained anything.
One more doubt, sir.
Yeah, when you apply 1 minute, guys, when you apply a one particular access control to a uniform, you can only do that when you are an admin or when you are an owner to that project. Okay, it's not that, sir, I wanted to provide access to some, I'm a data engineer, I wanted to provide access to one more person. It's not like that. But you create a bucket. When you are creating a bucket and when you have access to create a bucket, you can do whatever you want. That means you are the owner of that particular bucket. Then I say that, sir, I am the owner of the particular bucket. I am creating a bucket now. So I selected uniform today. You can provide access to the any number of people as a bucket level. And you can make it fine-grained also. You can provide a specific object level of access also to the specific people. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Someone is asking a question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, here I am having doubt whether these 4 files which is there won't follow parent-child architecture, sir. It is not inherited, sir. Because if you are giving us a bucket level, it can override the object level now, sir.
No, I did not get the question. This is not a resource hierarchical relationship. There is no. These are the individual files. Okay, these are the individual files.
Okay.
So it is. So you wanted to provide access bucket level, you provide it. You want a specific object to the specific user, you provide it. Okay, so that is how. Yes, guys. I think I wanted to talk to you, sir. That's why I'm asking your phone. Okay, what about auto class? So no, sir, I am not going to share my contacts here. It's not a correct way to share my contacts. So you can connect with our team if you guys have any questions. Cloud Shell and Cloud SDK, and how is data synchronization done across the regions? We will see that how. Yeah, data synchronization will be done in the backend. We are not going to be a part of it. When you select a proper storage, a proper location, that will be done. And yes. And what about auto class? Yeah, auto class is something that according to you. For example, nowadays you are coming, earlier you worked with a gear system, right? So there are 5 gears. Nowadays the car comes with the auto class. So according to your speed, the auto gear will be happening. Likewise, according to your usage or according to your retrieval and storage, it will be automatically selected. Okay, auto class. Yeah.
We can create a bucket through script.
We can create a bucket. Tomorrow we are seeing it. Yeah.
Okay, script, not through command.
Yeah, with a script means what?
Like Python script like that.
That can also be done. Yes, we can create a bucket with help of the script also. That is also we can able to create it. I will tell you that as well. For example, if you are working with the Python language, when you are working on an application or something, you wanted to, interact with this bucket or create a bucket, right? You can do that. I will tell you. That script is again a command only. Inside the script, you are using some command, but the script is little different. Yeah. No worries. I'll tell you.
Can you share the notes, running notes?
Sir, the notes, the access to these notes will be having only shared to from today onwards, maybe maybe tomorrow. So once all the people have completed the registrations, what I will do is like I will provide a link of this particular notes in the group. There will be a group created. So what I would suggest you is like you try to complete your registrations. Okay, so that I will be able to provide an entire access to my notes so that you will be able to have the access. And also, I think from tomorrow on, from tomorrow onwards, I think I'm expecting all the people will be completing the registration so that I can share it maybe tomorrow. That is one.
Your voice is breaking.
Okay, yeah, try to complete your registrations. I will surely share it with you guys. There are plenty of information here. And one, for example, whenever I do like this also, I will take this snap and keep it there. Okay. I will take the snap and keep it there. So we'll be able to have that information here as well. I'll just copy it here. Okay. So for a later point of time, if you wanted to refer, you can also refer from here. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you all. Complete your registrations with for any other to avoid the interruption. Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great day. We will continue from here tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.